it's better than last year.
So, you said you had...
I was just thinking this, and like I said, it's just my opinion, my views, whatever. If people agree, no, whatever. Do you think there might be, because it's about Shuttleworth. I mean, are there teams out there probably looking at him with a decent defense saying, gosh, if we're just maybe a goalie away from having a better club? And would the United even get rid of him, you think? I mean, they put a lot of faith in him the last 2 years.
I think that's something to consider. I think it would be a very similar situation to Ramirez, right? If the offer was right. Now, I don't know what his contract situation is.
No, I just thought about it when I was driving here. Oh my gosh! Watching that Wednesday game, I'm like,
yeah, if he's a situation where, he's still under contract at the end of the season, I can see a deal if it makes sense. I think Lampson is more than capable. He's not quite as quick.
I am surprised we haven't seen him as much, except first game or two? He played 2 back-to-back, and I think that was it.
Yeah, and I think he played in the U.S. Open Cup.
Okay, yes, because they weren't going to...
I think. I think he's capable, right? I think he can do it. He's not as good as Bobby on the saves. He's much better than Bobby on distribution. I think, yeah. I mean, if Shuttleworth is still under contract and there's the proper deal, I could see them making that move.
Okay.
Especially with Alex Kapp, who everything I've heard sounds like he's a great young goalie. So I could see them moving Lampson too. I mean, depending on the contract situation for both, I think they're both capable starting goalkeepers. So I think Bobby would get more of a return.
I think so too. I mean, he's proving it. Besides his distribution, for the most part, I think he's impressing me more than I thought he was gonna. Because once we got Lampson, I'm like, well, Shuttleworth, he's done, and it didn't happen.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think Bobby has a lot of years left. I mean, I think he's 33. So obviously some goalies play, I mean, look at Buffon.
Yeah. Do we have to?
I had to use him as an example. Look at Petr Cech.
Oliver Kahn would have been a good one to say.
Sure.
Okay.
Use him too. They can play well into their 30s, right? Mm-hmm. Or much older. So I think that's something that should be considered, but at the same time, I don't think most stay at a high level. I think Bobby isn't at a high level. I don't think he's elite, right? So I think in the next couple of years, he's going to fall off, and as he falls off, he's going to obviously not be nearly as good as he is.
Well, let's hope.
My 2 cents.
Well, that's why I asked.
Yeah. You might be putting too much faith in my opinion, but
Well, this isn't.
I'm the only one here, so.
You are, so I can't ask anybody else right now.
You could ask my wife.
What would her view be?
And she'd be like, what? Who?
She would just try selling me an oil and move on, right?
Yeah.
And then I guess when it comes to the defense, do you think it's a personnel change? One player might make a big difference for their chattering to get back together or get talking, chattering to make it work? Or is it just do they know the season's over with and it's just not going to get any better from here on out? I mean, obviously they're still playing for contracts, money, this and that.
Right.
It's not like they want to lose. Nobody wants to lose. But sometimes their body language shows it like they're not going to want to win.
Yeah, I think it was before the game, Adrian Heath said that, these games are about, who sticks around. So I would hope that the defense is taking that into consideration. Now, obviously, if they don't want to stick around, that might change things, right? I think the only two players that really want to stick around probably are Kalman,
hometown boy,
and TSL. I think those two probably are the most likely. Obviously, Jerry, for whatever reason, likes this place, enough to get his green card, right?
Yep.
So, I think there's something there that says he's interested in hanging around if he can, which hopefully he can, because I think he seems to be a really cool guy. Obviously, being a hometown boy, as you just pointed out, Kalman makes sense. So I think, whoa, that was a bad. Beautiful. He looked like Alexi Gomez taking a shot.
Well, that's what we're gonna. That's where the lace is out. Yep.
See, we can actually compare both footballs.
It wasn't even close.
Yeah, that wasn't even on target 10 yards up.
Blair Walsh just put on a Viking uniform again. So that's what just happened.
Well, what's even better is, look, Mike McCarthy's looking at it like, is that really out? Dude, that wasn't even. Yeah.
It was in a whole other. It was in Milwaukee.
So I would suspect that Calvo could probably get a better contract somewhere if he wanted one. But he seems to be very content for the most part. I wouldn't say that his play necessarily necessitates him staying, but I think I could see him moving on. Ultimately, I think these last, 7 games? No, 5 games.
Is there that many left still?
5 games.
5, okay, because I'm going 2 more home games and that's it.
3 more home
3.
games. Portland,
New York,
and
then the Galaxy.
I think they should be using this as an opportunity to work on that communication. I mean, if there's a chance that Adrian Heath is going to be saying, look, this is about evaluating players at this point, you would hope that they are. And it's a fantastic opportunity to do so. So, yeah. The question is maybe their skill level, maybe they're at the peak. So it doesn't matter how much they communicate. Just be where
it's they're where they're at. It's not going to get better, and
which could be, a sad but true possibility.
The off season will be interesting.
Yeah, it will be.
Because, like I said before we started, it's like, okay, we have to understand as the fans, it was all about the stadium first. McGuire needed to get the stadium built. That's what he put his money down toward, every single dime. And now it's time to build a team.
Yep.
And I don't want to... I've always said this, even when they were still in NASL days, moving up to the MLS. I said, I don't think he wants to do this and just be mediocre.
Right.
I think he wants to, especially being a new team, being a sport that is only really watched by the same people over and over again. You're going to want to win, and I'm hoping, he did a lot in NASL, even though our last year in the NASL was a little disappointing. Very disappointing compared to the last season, but yeah, I don't know. I hope they do well, and I just want to say a lot of I told you so is to the people that don't like the game.
Right.
I've said they're going to win a championship before the Vikings do.
Yeah.
And if that could happen, that would be the biggest dream come true, I think.
Yeah, I would say that the opportunity is definitely there if they do it right. And I think McGuire probably didn't realize how how difficult it is to build a team.
Correct, and you guys talked about that in a couple episodes ago.
Yeah,
comparing Atlanta, and can't do that.
Yeah, and the reality is, and I think we talked about that in that episode too, was, look, Arthur Blank didn't put any money forward.
Yeah.
So, if we were to play at US Bank Stadium, and McGuire would have been able to put $300 million towards building a squad, I mean, can you imagine what our squad would be like?
Would we have had a better team if the Vikings got the team? It would have been the same thing as Atlanta. I don't think it would have been as...
No, I don't think so. I think the Wilfs, wanted a team just to want a team.
Correct.
I don't think they would put any effort into it.
And that's why us fans were devastated to find out that the Vikings even had a chance.
Right.
We were like, absolutely not.
Yeah, and now, of course, we have the example of the Wilfs being involved in the ownership of Louisville.
Yeah.
So that'll be interesting to see.
And that proves right there what you just said. It's just about getting a team and getting an extra thing of revenue. That proves a lot right there, that it's not about the sport.
And there have already been accusations that the ownership group of Louisville has been screwing over the city. And so, no shocker.
So he did that with the city of Minneapolis, too.
Yeah. So, we'll take a break. We'll have a few more things about Minnesota. One more thing about Minnesota.
Yep. Sounds good. We are back, and at the beginning of the podcast, I made a very bad mistake and forgot to tell you could find us on the Beautiful Game Network, bgn.fm. Sorry, I apologize. Tony would not have forgotten. And also, lunacypodcast.com you can go to and get links to Facebook, Instagram, Spreaker, and iTunes. And it takes...
Twitter.
And Twitter. Is that it?
And Beautiful Game Network.
And the Beautiful Game Network, of course. They have been gracious, as they've said since the picking you guys up, and so I do apologize, and I won't make that mistake again.
Yeah, hopefully they won't pull us.
Well, you know what? Then I guess Tony can never go on vacation again.
Exactly.
I mean, I can't believe you let him go.
Well,
I mean,
I got control.
Or Nels doesn't get to celebrate a birthday anymore.
That could work too. Which, by the way, happy birthday, Nels.
Yes.
He's 40. So, that's kind of crazy. I'm not there yet. John, you're there soon.
December 18th.
How's that make you feel?
Well, after last night, old. so, yes. And then I played a pickup game of basketball with a bunch of little yahoos yesterday. They asked me if I wanted to play.
How young?
I'm talking about the oldest playing, I think, might have been 11. The youngest playing was maybe 5, 6.
So they literally probably just ran around you.
Well, what it was is 3-on-2. Me and the older kid were on the team. And then there was some kid on like a little pedal go-kart. Kids are going to do whatever he wants to do. Yeah. Wasn't paying attention. Start driving up the sidewalk or the driveway where we were, and I tripped over him. That's why my wrist is hurting right now. And I pulled out, and I all of a sudden get off. So it was. Luckily, I didn't break anything because I hit hard, and so. But I got back up and I played, and I was in flip flops. Ended up being in my bare feet, and
so it was kind of like me on the skateboard Friday night. Which we can talk about later.
Yes.
In later hose and trying to ride a skateboard.